Good morning, good morning, good morning. Shout out to all the wonderful people out there. We should be having a good conversation. Turki Alashiek is a scumbag. What a piece of shit, bro. I did a video today, man. Let me say what's up to everybody. Bank Hayes, what's good, man? Branson and Denali, what's going on, man? Nuke the Duke, Ray Smith, Denali Smith, Terrell W, what's going on, Mr. Mileage? Love and loyalty. Cornell Burnett said, good morning, Fanon the Great. Salute, chat. Holy Ghost rolled and lit. Ready for this boxing talk. Yes, sir. Grand rise to you, Martin. Salute to the chat. Salute to you, Jay Henderson. Look, I want to start off by saying this live stream, and I know cats can come on and talk about whatever you want to talk about. But two things that I really are on my mind as far as boxing is concerned is number one is Gary Russell Jr. I'm still on Gary Russell Jr. You all boxing owes Gary Russell Jr. a fight. They owe Gary Russell Jr. a big fight. Before he retires, bro, he deserves the same chance that everybody, that so many other people get, that they're trying to deny him. Same thing with Deontay Wilder. Like, I was thinking about Deontay Wilder. I was like, realize Deontay Wilder is like the only guy to not get a shot at some undisputed title. He had a chance to fight Anthony Joshua for undisputed title, and Anthony Joshua refused to get in the ring with him. But Anthony Joshua got another shot, got multiple shots at undisputed. Didn't he? Yes, I think he did. Because I don't know. Did AJ get shots at undisputed? No, because AJ lost before Tyson Fury, but Tyson Fury got shots at undisputed. Daniel Dubois just got a shot at undisputed. And he got gifts, got shots at the IBF belt that they stole, that they took, didn't steal. They took from Alexander Usyk to give to him. So Alexander Usyk got another shot at undisputed. So he's now a two-time undisputed heavyweight champion. Three-time undisputed champion, which I do believe that's the most in boxing right now, is that he's a three-time undisputed champion. Oh, Matias smacked. Yeah. Matias smacked Tio. He need to smack Tio. Trying to call people monkeys all the time, man. What's up, Virgil Wembley? How you feeling, man? Yeah, Matias a wild boy for that. Yeah, I saw that. Somebody needed to slap him. What's going on? Oh, by the way, what's up, Jameson Childress? How you feeling? But man, so David Howard, good morning, sir. How are you? Good morning. Hope you're well. We're going to wait till about 200 people get in the building. Once we get about 200 people in the building, I'll put the link in the chat. Anything you guys want to talk about today, I'm 100% off top, boxing, on topic, off topic. I don't care. Slap the glasses off to you. Yeah, that's what you get, dog. Talking all like, yeah, get slapped. That's what's up, Jameson. But seriously, man, Gervonta Davis and or Lamont Roach, they've got to give Gary Russell Jr. As long as Gary Russell Jr. is serious about fighting, Gary Russell Jr. deserves a chance at a world title, and not just a world title. He deserves a shot at a big name fighter. He deserves that Gervonta Davis fight, man. I really believe that he deserves that because he was such a great champion at 130, at 126, but nobody would fight him. He was never been able to get the competition that was contemporary with him wouldn't fight him. Like Leo Santa Cruz wouldn't fight him. Abner Mars up there with his cockeyed ass talking about, oh, how great it is to see Gary again. But you wouldn't fight him, Abner. Neither would Lee Selby. Neither would Carl Frampton. None of those guys would fight him, man. And it's ridiculous, bro. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then all of the nonsense that these guys did with trying to steal all his shine. Devin and the fucking Soul Sucker crew sucked the soul out of his career. A bunch of fucking vampires. Anyway, What's up, CoQ? Get them likes up, everybody, on your way in. Get them likes up, subscribe, and hit the notification. Please do. I'm serious, man. That's what they are, a bunch of vampires, man. Just sat there and sucked the life out of other boxers' careers, man. That's why I'm not a big fan. I'm not saying not a big fan. I'm not a fan of 38 likes. That's all right, man. That's all good, man. I'm not somebody usually that begs for likes, man. We got 127 people in the building. I'm sure y'all will roll on in and hit the likes as you do. Roach and Gary Russell Jr. in the DMV would be a great fight that probably sells out. It'll sell out. Roach, it'll sell out for sure in the DMV. Yeah, Roach and Gary Russell Jr. for sure. Whoever wins that fight, man, I'm telling you, you need to fight Gary. But Lamont Roach ain't going to do it because Lamont Roach don't want to lose. Lamont Roach, you can talk what you want. You can say what you want to say. But I don't buy it, bro. You can say what you want to say about he ain't, you don't see this. Nah, bro, you saw that. you know that man can fight, dog. You know that man can fight, dog. No. Why you keep always saying no? It can happen right now. Why should you have to wait years? Why do I have to worry about the fight needed to take place years ago when I can have the fight right now? Get that bullshit out of my face. You can have a fight right now. I don't have to look back and be like, oh, I really wish this fight would have happened 5 years ago, so I don't need it now. Look, man. Please don't come up with this corny shit. You people in the boxing world, please get your corny asses from around me, okay? Please, with your disinformation campaign. Man, Chillville, what up, Chillville? Big Noop. What up, Fi? How you doing, man? Always good to see my guy Chillville in the building. Big time Bud supporter, man. Yeah, I don't want to hear that stuff about, oh, it should have happened years ago. It didn't happen years ago, and it can happen now. All right, Gervonta's 30. He's 30? Gary's 37. Lamont, let's make it happen. You know what I'm saying? CG Cap said Gary is fresh too. Like he said, the time he did a lot of good. Yeah, 37. Tank's 30. He's 37. It's close enough. When was this supposed to happen? 7 years? Hold on. Let me stop that shit. What do you mean that fight should have happened a long time ago? They weren't even in the same weight class. I can't even believe I said that. It should happen now. Okay? Give Gary Russell Jr. the opportunity to prove his greatness, just like you're giving Terrence Crawford the opportunity to prove his greatness, just like you've given Terrence Crawford the ability to prove his greatness on multiple occasions. Floyd Mayweather Jr. got an opportunity to show his greatness. Why can't Gary Russell Jr. at a late age get the opportunity to show his greatness? He's fresh. He hasn't had a ton of fights. He's got his shoulder right. Where's the proof of Tank Cash? Who the fuck are you talking to? Who are you talking to? Where's the proof of Tank canceling the fight? Did I say Tank canceled the fight? Why are you asking me for proof that Tank canceled the fight? I didn't say anything about Tank canceling the fight. Crawford about to be 38, man. Yeah, Crawford, exactly. Same, he's older than Buddy. Older, exactly. So let him, he's older than Gary. So let Gary get his shot. I didn't say that shit, you bitch. Shut the fuck up. I did not say Tank's fight with Roach was canceled. Shut your dumb ass up, lying ass. Just up in the morning lying, bro. You just up in the morning, fresh out in the morning lying. I did not say that Lamont that Gervonta Davis's fight was canceled. I said I don't care what happens with that fight. The winner needs to fight Gary Russell Jr. That's what I said. That's what I said. Thank you very much. That's what I said. Exactly. But Turbiev and Usyk still elite at 38 plus. Even though I got to tell you, Koqui, the fact that they can fight at 38 years old and 40 years old, well, there was always fighters that could fight old like that. Archie Moore was fighting old like that. There was a lot of fighters that fought when they were old. Gary Russell is hell for whoever he fights. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I say we got to see the fight. And I'm pushing for the fight. I need Gary Russell Jr. to be taken seriously, man. I sent you videos on Sabril slapping T.O. Make it Gary Russell Matias too. No one wants to see Matias and Buckingham Palace guard Dalton Smith. Hell no. Let me see. Y'all trying to make me watch him slap T.O. Good for you. The Puerto Rican black man. Man, you sent me about 900 videos. I got a lot of work to do today.
The one and only hosting cruise, bringing you another exciting edition of boxing. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe to my channel. Always really appreciate it. See you. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen, I am your host. Miracle Boy Boxing.
Where's the slap?
Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, the one and only hosting cruise, bringing you another exciting edition of boxing. Always really appreciate it.
Oh, that nigga too small, boy. Way too small. Oh, he don't want Matias. He too small. I don't see the slap. I don't see it. All right, I'll take your word for it. He slapped the glass off his face. It's on Punch Drunk's video. Okay. He swung at T.O., but it didn't connect. Okay, you see the glass? Yeah, I see T.O.'s glasses. Hell yeah. Yeah, I see his shit. I see T.O. So T.O. got slapped. Good for him. He swung at T.O., but it didn't connect. He slapped the glasses off his face. All right. You saw it on Twitter. That's okay. I got it now. That's funny, though. Man, look, Teofimo's too small for Sabro Matias. Man, I wouldn't mind seeing it, though. T.O. Big Doug, funny nose, kept those glasses on. I sent you. Okay, man. You sent me like 100 videos, bro. Like a lot. So I got to go. You sent me a lot of emails, man. I don't know if you noticed how many you sent me, but that's a lot to go through. I'll go through it though. They both at 140. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying he's little though. He did connect and fucked up his glasses. Fuck T.O. I've been saying that. Okay, so at least he did it. He said, "You're fat." I heard him call him fat. He said, "You're gordo. You're fat." Yeah, you're little. You know what I mean? That's funny. Yeah, I don't know what I can really make of that, though. That's just kind of like, hey, he slapped him upside the head. Good for him. Good for him. Javon Freeman said T.O. deserves to be slapped. He had it coming. Yeah, he did. Matias did what Bud wouldn't do. Slap him. Yeah. Hey, I don't know. I don't speak Spanish. Am I fitting to drop a link? Yeah, I can drop a link. Sure. Matias was in prison for a year and been shot at. T.O. couldn't expect Matias to be civil. There don't seem to be nothing. I just don't know if he thought he may be somebody that don't think he black. So I don't know if he's not Dominican though. Okay, the Dominicans are more likely to be that way than Puerto Ricans. So I was thinking that maybe that Matias, if Matias was one of these guys that didn't think he was black, I wasn't trying to hear it. A said Matias isn't the Berlanga type of Puerto Rican. That's hilarious. What's up, Kamal?
What up, Fanon? Top of the morning to you.
Top of the morning to you.
First day of the week. Stretch those kneecaps. Stretch those elbows out. Get ready for a long week, man. So all these Haniacs, Fanon, they should be the biggest fans of Subriel Matias and all these fake pimp race hustlers that demanded that Jerron Boots Ennis give Kehoe an undeserved fight just because they want to see some kind of quote unquote racial justice. Shouldn't they be the biggest fans of Subriel Matias because he did what your favorite fighters wouldn't do?
I don't see how it's a racial injustice, but absolutely, I agree with you.
I said it's a fake racial justice.
It's what it is pandering is what the fuck it is.
Exactly. It was bogus. They wanted to project all their needs and all their fake racial outrage. And it's fake because these same people are quiet when Devin Haney insults black fighter after black fighter. And they're capping for him now, insinuating that Brian Norman is some kind of juicer or something. That's why I said it's a bogus narrative. And they were trying to project all that on Boots, saying that Boots has a duty to go and fight Tiho. The natural fight to make. Let's not give Tiho an out, Fanon. This guy is begging for welfare. He's at PBC shows begging to fight. I guess he thinks he's going to get a tank fight. I was talking to Ashley's Corner. He's acting like he's going to get a tank fight, and I don't see it. He's just not the name that he thinks he is. He's a diva. He doesn't have the fan base that he thinks he does. He's not from Mexico. He's from Honduras, and now he's trying to use the Spain angle, walking around with the Spain flag. So all these fake race hustlers that lied and slandered and followed Bill Haney, the carnival barker's words on Subriel Matias, and that fake $4 million offer that he lied, Fanon, about Subriel Matias and Peter Khan. You guys should be the biggest fan of Subriel Matias because he did what your favorite fighters wouldn't do and pimp slapped Tiho. Let's not give him an out, Fanon. These are both title holders at 140 pounds.
Oh, I forgot.
This would be a unification. Let's not say one is bigger than the other. That's what Tio is trying to say.
No, I forgot. I actually forgot Tio held a belt. I forgot. Shit. You're right. Tio's got a belt. I was thinking Gary Antoine, but yeah, okay, you're right. No, I just forgot he had a belt.
They're all 140. I want to see Gary Antoine. I don't think Tiho would take that fight. I think Tiho's begging Al Heyman, but he thinks that Al's going to give him an easy touch because he thinks he's in his delusional mind. He thinks he's Canelo Alvaroid. So he's looking for Jaime Munguia and Berlanga fights and Bumlanga fights, and Al is not going to give him that and pay him top dollar. So I think Tio has his hat out, his PBC hat out, begging for donations, thinking he's in church or something, begging for donations, Fanon, and I think that he's just delusional. So yeah, no, I think Al would make Gary Antoine Russell versus Tio immediately. Would Tio take the fight? I know for hell he wouldn't. So Turkey, we have fights, Fanon, and I sent you and I know I sent you a bunch of videos. I sent you the Frank Warren Sky Sports interview. Joseph Parker's next. The WBO is next in the series of rotations for the undisputed at heavyweight. So Joseph Parker versus Usyk should happen next. If it doesn't, if Turkey finagles his way and tries to give us an undeserved trilogy between Fury and Usyk that nobody wants to see, then we know who to blame. Turkey, nobody wants to see another UK level fighter, Dalton Smith. We have plenty of backstory of Tiho. Turkey says he's not going to work with Teofimo Lopez, and justifiably so, because Tio's just an idiot. But Turkey can put up money for Gary Antoine Russell versus Subriel Matias. I'd take that fight. What about you, Fanon?
Oh, I would love to see that fight.
Who's asking for Dalton Smith?
I don't think Turkey has to put any money up for it, though. Like, it's just a regular fight that you can have. You can just have a regular PBC on Amazon fight, man. That shit it's so much less complicated and so much less bullshit going on with that stuff. Like, it was just simple. Just a simple fucking fight without all that drama. And then Turkey opened his mouth. By the way, I did do a video on that today, just so you know, about the Turkey, what he said about Tim Tszyu.
Oh, thank you. Because I was going to ask you to do a video on that because that dude is so you know how people who get such ego, they put on this big image, but it really hides something. That this guy has a little man syndrome. Tim Tszyu took on a tough fight in Bakram Murtalayev, a tougher fight than Virgil Ortiz at the time, because Bakram, and it brought a title. And then this dude got offended because he took on Bakram, and now he posted the tweet and had to delete it because he came under criticism. And this is a guy, you're the one talking Tom and Jerry. Tim Tszyu's the one that's not giving you Tom and Jerry fights, like him or hate him, and he's taking on tough fight after tough fight. So the onus is on these Turkey butt sniffers, Fanon. If Turkey doesn't give us Zurdo Ramirez, who's the unified cruiserweight, versus Jayo Bataya next, or Badu Jack versus Jayo Bataya, all three of these guys, he's got on lockdown because he owns the cruiserweight division, then we know who's the problem. If he doesn't give us Usyk versus Parker next, we know who's the problem, because Frank Warren said the WBO on the Sky Sports interview I sent you is next in the rotation for mandatory obligations for Usyk. If we don't get Subriel Matias versus any of these other title holders, well, I mean, really with Africa, with Richardson Hitchens, he hasn't sounded, to be fair to him, he hasn't sounded like he's really wanted to fight Subriel Matias. So I don't think he's really keen on the fight. But if we don't get Gary Antoine Russell after he knocks out Hiroka, his mandatory, the Japanese guy, Japanese Ghanaian guy, if we don't get that next, or if we don't get, I sent you the Fight Hype video where Subriel Matias talked about why it's personal between him and Tiho. You guys watch that Fight Hype video, because Subriel said, this guy's insulting me. He's insulting my flag. So Tiho's insulted everybody, Fanon. So Subriel talked about how he's insulting Puerto Ricans. He's disrespecting his flag. And I sent you that Fight Hype video. You guys watch that. If Turkey pushes forward another of these UK domestic level fights that nobody wants to see, you butt sniffers, you bootlickers of Turkey, you better fill up his timeline and complain, because we want to see Jayo Bataya versus the other champions. We want to see Parker Usyk. We want to see Subriel Matias versus Gary Antoine Russell, or especially now, if the fight doesn't have to be built anymore, we want to see Fimo versus Subriel Matias. Nobody's asking for, same thing they weren't asking for before, Liam Paro versus Subriel Matias, Eddie Hearn. We're asking for the unifications. 140 is a great division. Want to get your thoughts on that before, and Phoenix's thoughts. I'm going to listen right now.
Yeah, my thought on that last particular part is that's why I want them to make that shit on a PBC card. Just make that shit on a PBC card. Get the fucking thing done on the next PBC card and leave Turkey the fuck out of it, bro. Because I'm telling you, this dude is going to be burning fucking fighters up. He's burning fighters up. That shit he said about Tim Tszyu, you cannot tell me that this dude is not some big fucking egomaniac, man. Like, you're going to have to kiss his ring and kiss his ass to get anything. You obviously have to. But the way that he disrespected Tim Tszyu, and Tim Tszyu, man, like, I'm wondering what was he watching the fight, or did somebody just tell him that he quit on the stool? Because what's he supposed to do? Get beat to death, Turkey? Like, for real. This man is 6'7", 6'5.5", 8-inch reach on him, hammering down on this guy. Look at what Turki Alashiek did to the rest, did to Eddie Hearn's entire stable. I'm telling you, you guys putting your career in this guy's hands, it's a very fucking iffy proposition. So I'm not really calling for Turkey to make any fights. Honestly, I'm wanting the dude to go away. I just think he's bad fucking juju. I really do. I don't like what the fuck is happening with Tim's, like that. Just to say that about Tim Tszyu after this man was fighting his ass off, and actually Tim Tszyu fought himself into the fucking fight, back into the fight, and then that big motherfucker just started pressing on his ass. He was standing up in the corner and didn't even know where he was. I remember looking at the camera and seeing Tim Tszyu's face. Tim Tszyu's face was completely blank. He didn't know where the fuck he was. But throw his ass out there, huh, Turkey? Throw his ass out there. And so who else has done that? You remember when Joe Frazier, well, we were too young to remember Joe Frazier fighting Ali. In round 14, Ali was laying in on that dude. And then his corner said, oops, that's too much. And then Joe Frazier didn't come out. Ali was getting beat up by Larry Holmes. He didn't come out. Look, at a certain point in time, if you lose a fight, You can't win a fight and you're getting, it's a difference if you can't win a fight and you're not getting your ass whooped up. You can keep trying. But if your ass is getting pummeled, like fucking pummeled, and you're not able to respond, no, that's when they say stop the fight. The ref stops the fight, the corner can stop the fight. That's not a disgrace. How the fuck would you say that about that guy? It is absolute worst moment. Just to troll the PBC. I don't trust Turki Al-Sheikh in that shit. I just don't. But if he is going to make a fight and they make that fight, I'll take that fight for sure. Tio, Subriel Matias, Gary Antoine Russell, Subriel Matias, Gary Antoine Russell, Tio Fimo Lopez. I'll take all of those dudes. Africa, I don't think Africa is like, I don't know, bro. Africa to me doesn't seem like he really toting the power necessarily to get off on those dudes. I think maybe he can beat Tio, but I don't think he can get with Subriel Matias, and I damn sure don't think he can get with Gary Antoine Russell. But yeah, if he wants to make the fight, shit, make the fights. I'm just very wary of the guy, period, because he said he doesn't want any more Tom and Jerry fights. Shakur Stevenson is now getting hit in fights when he probably shouldn't have to be hit by that particular dude. And if he's now going to say he doesn't want anybody in their cards if they decide that they're not going to come out, that means you're just going to wait on somebody to die. Like I'm telling you, if Turki Al-Sheikh says, number one, you got to fight in the phone booth, and number two, you can't quit on your stool. That's a recipe for somebody dying in a boxing ring. It really is. And then they have to choose, like, oh my God, I won't have another payday. I won't have another payday. You know what I mean? I won't have another payday if I don't go out here, if I quit. So shit, you may not have, get your next payday, but that CTE, that shit's going to show up about a decade earlier because you were getting pummeled by this dude in the head. I mean, dude, this dude is landing fucking jabs. That fucking jab is snapping his head back. That shit is a big ass man with popping you in the middle of the fucking forehead. But you know, that's my take on it. What's your take on it, Phoenix?
The only thing I need Turkey to make is his way on up out of boxing. That's it. I don't care about him making no fights or anything. He just need to make his way up out of boxing. To like the shit getting ridiculous. Like the fact that he was saying like not just that Tim Tszyu don't deserve to be on a Riyadh card. It's like, oh, maybe he could be a sparring partner for the Riyadh champions. Like what? Like come on, you want to diminish this dude down to a sparring partner for your fugazi ass fights? Like what in the world? So you know, like Turkey, man, and the shit he's talking about. They still want to do that Alcatraz prison card. They still want to do that because that'll be home of the booty warriors. You know that.
Yeah.
They're gonna have all them ring card dudes up in there. They're gonna be slipping and sliding. Maybe they'll even have Diddy as the guest of honor. Diddy is gonna be the ring announcer. You know, with baby oil and all. Like that, this shit is wild. And then talking about the Canelo card, the dude talking about he want to do 3 days of undercard fights. Like what? 3 days of undercards? Man.
You know who that is? The only person who would want 3 days of undercard fights is a nigga without a job. Okay? You obviously, Turkey, don't get it, bro. You are some big rich ass motherfucker who can waste all their goddamn time over 3 days watching 50 fucking fights and rubbing up on boys' legs. Okay? Who the fuck has 3 days to do that shit? Please put a regular fucking fight card on, man. Get 5 or 6. What do you get? What at the longest? How many undercards? 15 undercard fights. 15 undercard fights at the most, bro. Because that shit is going to carry on. How long is that going to? 15 fights at like 30 minutes a fucking piece, bro. That's a 6-hour event. Dude, people got shit to do, man. Shit got to do, bro. Put a fight card together that lasts about 3 hours. I loved how the PBC did it. They had a first half that was prelims. It was about 4 or 5 fights on the prelims. Boom. Gary, we got a good Gary fight. Boom. We go into the main event. 4 or 5 fights. Good couple hours. We're done. What the fuck do we need to sit there? Why the fuck do we need to sit there through 20 undercard fights with boo-boo the who knows who the fuck on TV? If you want to do non-televised undercard fights, man, do them at clubs. You know how I used to go back in the day? I don't know if they still do this in Vegas or not, But when I would go to a fight in Vegas, on Friday they would have a totally different, smaller card in smaller casinos. Where I went and saw Tim, what's my guy's name? Tua David. I saw David Tua fight like in a little ballroom before the big event, which was Roy Jones fight. Man, that shit was dope as shit. To having a different little event, but not like everybody sitting there for fucking 15 hours watching all these goddamn. Get the fuck out of here, man. That shit is stupid.
And that's
Anyway,
too much because they ain't even gonna have no side attraction. Like man, I could understand that this was like some type of convention, and you went there. There's a whole bunch of stuff at the convention and everything. Like that makes sense for a multi-day event, but for a boxing match, hell no. Who's gonna come to that shit?
man,
And at the same,
undercard events anyway. But if you want to the pull out bandit, bro, you be supporting the shit out of Turkey, bro. Pull out. You put them, you know how you build up fighters? In little, small, you build them up in your cities. You have to build them up in a city. You're not going to grow an undercard fighter by putting them on 16 hours before the main event. What kind of sense does that make?
Exactly.
How does that translate? Go ahead, Phoenix.
It doesn't. No, you're good. Like, no, it doesn't because see, that's the thing. Like for Tank and Canelo, they put both of them on Floyd's undercards, and that's where they got that recognition. Like Canelo, he was on a few undercards before he fought Floyd. I think the first Floyd undercard he was on was it's either the Shane Mosley or Miguel Cotto fight that Canelo was on, and then I think he was on, if I remember correctly, the Victor Ortiz one too. Might be wrong, but like they put him on there to build him up. Same thing with Tank, especially at the Conor McGregor fight. So it's like I understand wanting to build fighters, but you got to do it the right way. Like putting them at the beginning, like even for them regular UK cards, those are like 10 hours because them shit's gonna start at 11 in the morning. Like, and I'm on Central Time. They start at 11 in the morning, sometimes noon, and then they're gonna run until like dinner time at like 8. Like, who's gonna be watching them if they really want to get eyes on them? Like, the fight ain't got a whole bunch of people there in person, and then it's at an awkward time of day. What crowd are you trying to appeal to? I mean, like if it's just the people over there in the Eastern Hemisphere, okay, that's fine. But if we're talking about fighters that you want to get out there in the mainstream, fighters that you actually do want to grow their name and get them out there so they're being talked about, then nah. Like putting them at the beginning. Like I don't know if you've been to any of them amateur tournaments, but like we go to an amateur tournament,
Yeah.
it's about the same. It's about the same length. And on top of that, like we be having fights. And some of them is 3 minutes for each round. Some of them they chop it down to 90-second rounds, depending on how many fights is on. We went to one up in Iowa, and there was like 65 fights, 65 amateur fights. So like we sitting there like the whole day, and it kind of sucks because it's broken up throughout the thing. So we had one guy fighting third, then we got another guy in the 15th fight, then we got to wait for like the 32nd fight for our other guy to get up in the ring. And so something like that, man, if you don't know the people, you're not going to be sticking around to go ahead and watch every single one of them fights unless you're one of the officials or you're the promoter putting it on. It's going to be the same thing here.
Watch this. Even with the amateur, because I can relate to amateur tennis tournaments. In an amateur, some of these fights are going on at the same time. There's a bunch of motherfuckers going on at the same time. When you do 20 fights, that shit's got to be lineal in the pros. Got to be lineal. I'm sure don't they have different rings set up at those tournaments?
It depends on where we go. Some of them got different rings, but some of them it'll be just one ring, so you got to wait. So that's the one thing that kind of sucks. Like when it's just one ring, because you're gonna be there the whole like 12 hours waiting. And I hate to be the last person on the card, especially if you coming in from out of state. Man, I be feeling sorry for them because sometimes they overlook that, and instead of saying, "Oh, like these people is coming from the next state over, let's go ahead and put their fights first." So that way, but sometimes they forget that, and then you got somebody that we fighting in St. Louis, then we got somebody coming down from Wisconsin. They're not gonna go back home until way later. So like that's the problem there. Like in the pros, like if you're talking about you want to build somebody up, Man, putting them as at the first fight out of 100, are you talking about 3 days? Like, okay, good luck to that guy. Because the fight's gonna be on Saturday. That means if they serious about this, they go if they want 3 days of undercards, or if it's 3 days the whole event, even then is bad. If they want to talk about 3 days for the whole event, first dude is gonna be fighting in the afternoon on Thursday. If they're talking about 3 days for just the undercards, well then shoot, he's gonna be fighting in the afternoon on Wednesday. So like who's gonna see him? Who's gonna see him? You know? So like that's the crazy part right there. I don't look at that as them trying to build fighters up. I look at them as just trying to be super extra and talk about, hey, look what we did. We did some shit don't nobody else wanted,
Yeah,
but hey, you
yeah.
know,
That's a very good point, bro. Like you guys are being like, what do you're being? He's being innovative just for innovation's sake. He's being innovation. He's being innovative for. There you go. Turkey is being innovative for the sake of being innovative. You want to be innovative when you have a problem you're trying to solve. So, what problem are you gonna? What problem are you addressing by having a 20-fight undercard? If you're talking about the mass appeal of the sport of boxing, you're talking about the main event fighters. You're talking about the top level fighters. You're not talking about guys 15, 20 fights down the line. So if what you're trying to do is trying to grow boxing and grow the popularity of fighters, that starts in the amateurs. That starts in the amateurs. If that's what you're trying to do, you're trying to grow a bunch of different fighters, then shit, put $30 million, $40 million in amateur boxing. Then you can have and then televise amateur tournaments if that's what you're looking to do, because then you can attract the people that are interested in the amateur stuff. Because there's a lot of people that are very much into amateur boxing, love amateur boxing, miss amateur boxing on TV, especially if they took the headgear and stuff off. But you're to take an amateur, like to try to make the NBA run like a high school basketball tournament, that shit's not going to work. You're not going to be able to put like, okay, we're going to have the Chicago Bulls and the Phoenix Suns playing each other in the same city at the same, this shit don't work, man. Like it doesn't make
yep.
sense. It seems to me that you're being innovative for the sake of being innovative, to say we're doing something different. So, hey, we need to say we're doing something different. We're doing something special. So let's have a tiger as ring card boys. You know what I mean? Like shit is stupid. Go ahead, Phoenix. I'm sorry.
Call Mike Tyson, bring his tiger in.
Call
Exactly.
Putin,
Like,
have one of those Russian bears. You know how in Russia they have those big Siberian bears in the soccer games and stuff.
Yeah,
have a
like
Russian
that.
bear as a
Yeah,
recall.
have
or
them
them
come out
dudes in
and rub
Asia,
bears, man.
or the dudes in Asia that be boxing with kangaroos.
Exactly.
Hey,
Just trying to
they
do
go,
some shit that's different just to be doing
man,
different shit. You know, that's why I'm telling you, I think they fugazi, because that's what them fugazi niggas always doing. Always trying to switch some shit up, some new fashion, always trying to give you something new and telling you that something old ain't good enough. Man, the PBC card this weekend was simple as fuck. Straightforward, easy, not complicated, just traditional boxing the way we're used to seeing it, and it was and everything was focused on the fight. You guys got all kind of dumb shit going on. Want to focus on how much money is being paid to the fighters as trying to put it in. Why in the world does Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford need to be in a football stadium? There's no reason for that shit. Just to do it, just because let's give it a European feel. Europeans do that shit. We don't do that shit. Not for boxing matches, because it sucks to watch a boxing match from that shit. You can't see it.
But he's trying to be cute, Fanon. This guy cannot see the forest, and these worshipers of the guy, the would-be pharaoh, they can't see the forest from the trees, Fanon. It's just like, dude, you got all the pieces at cruiserweight. You got somebody who a lot of people are hyped up about in Jairo Batalla. Make the damn fight with him and Badu Jack. Make the fight with him and Gilberto Zero Ramirez.
oh,
Why are you
speaking of
having
that,
Jairo Batalla fighting bums?
man, I'm glad you said something about it, 'cause it just reminded me, like you guys were talking about Usyk in his next fight earlier. Like, yeah, Usyk, I think should fight Joseph Parker yet, but nah, Turkey saying he want that Atama guy or whoever to be Usyk's next opponent. He said that's the one he wants.
Moses
Moses
Atumwa.
Atama? He's fighting
Yep, that's
D-Ball
what.
Dillian next.
No,
D-Ball Dillian, the
that's what
delusional
Turkey
druggy
said.
brother.
Yep, he wants that guy for Usyk next is what he said. So it's like, come on, man, like really, really.
And he's
That
a
it,
prospect. He's not ready. See, this is Turkey, man. You guys who worship this guy, you guys think he's like this great guy. He wants Itama next. Itama, if
Well,
Usyk
he
vacates the
literally
WBO, it'll be Itama versus Parker that'll be
hold
next.
on, hold
What is
on.
Turkey doing, man?
Look at this shit. So this is the Moses Atumwa that is the best prospect in all of boxing. Is in heavyweight. He last fight he fought a guy that was 7-1. His fight before that, he fought a guy that was 2-0. His fight before that, am I something wrong with me on this shit? No, that's pro. Let me see his pro. That's his amateur. This cannot, that's got to be his amateur. Okay, yeah. So he is a pro, is 12-0 with 10 KOs. I'll say that has to be it.
yep, that's what he
He's
wants
never
next.
fought. No, he's gonna get his ass knocked the fuck out. He's never fought past the second round. He's only fought. He's got 2 6-round fights where he went 6 rounds. After that, he's never gone past the first round. He's not ready. That dude ain't ready. He's literally never fought past the second round. You were gonna put him in there with a 12-round fight with Alexander Usyk? You're gonna get that guy killed.
Hey, if you want to shorten a fighter's career, this is the way. Damage them all before their name get too big, so that way you can be their lifeline to that payday.
Dog, you can just look at his box rec and tell he's not ready because he's never fought he's never fought somebody at the top level past the first round. And he only has 12 fights. And you're going to throw him in there with Alexander Usyk? That is so stupid. Like, just burn everything up, huh? Like, fuck it. Hey, somebody go get Kermel Moton and put Kermel Moton in there with Tank. Go get Kermel Moton and put Kermel Moton in there with Tank. Right now. Kermel Moton will get his ass dismembered. Wow. That's amazing.
It's just a rich kid who has so much money that they don't know what to do with it. And they effectively, you know how those people were so rich in the old days, guys? They used to just burn money. They used to sit at the fireplace with tobacco, with their cigar, and they had their scotch or their rum, and they just be sitting there burning money. They had so much money. It's just dumb ideas, dumb idea after dumb idea. Fury, who's 350 pounds, you've seen the recent video of him, 400 pounds maybe, telling him, come on, we want a third fight with Usyk. Why? We saw him get beat twice convincingly. There is no market for a third fight, especially when Parker's there. It's just dumb things like after Subriel Matias beats Puello, you bring Dalton Smith in the ring, who nobody in America knows who Dalton Smith is. He hasn't fought anybody. And you ask Subriel, you take away his moment, you say, you want to fight Smith next? You're going to fight Smith next. Why? When 140 is knee deep in good competition, so much good competition that even there's quality fights with people who aren't belt holders. And you got the backstory with Subriel even before the pimp slapping that you fake race hustlers, you guys who slandered and libeled another black fighter's name in Subriel Matias over the fake Peter Kahn offer. You guys should be celebrating this guy because he did what your favorite fighters wouldn't do to Tijo Lopez. Why are you guys accepting this mediocrity? This guy giving us these garbage fights. We have natural fights. He has Benavidez on a card finally, but he's talking about making Hamza Shiraz versus Canelo. Nobody's asking for that. You guys
Oh,
cannot see the forest from the trees. It's just frustrating with these worshipers, man.
oh, I knew that was going to happen because he was saying it from the get go. The winner of Belanga and Shiraz is going to fight the winner of Bud and Canelo. He was saying that before they even announced the fight. So yeah, Like he's telling us, but it's like, man, I don't know. I don't know what it is about all this that people find appealing because it's really not. It's really not. Like shoot, even for the undercard in this Canelo thing, you know how they was choosing some of the people on the undercards. They was having a tournament. They was having like a little amateur tournament, basically. Like how they had the gambling going on in doghouse rules. It's a Mayweather gym, right? Except this time the prize was a spot on the Canelo and Bud undercard. So they had some people out there like shoot, they had guys getting knocked out, like in like with headgear on. And they had people. One guy got punched in the back of the head and get knocked out. And then they also got like some fighters that we haven't heard of in a while was up there to shoot. Like that's what they're doing right now. Oh, and another thing. Turkey. I don't know if it was at that event or at a different spot, but Turkey met Calvin Ford. He met Coach Calvin, and Coach Calvin was telling them like, "Hey, you know what we doing? It's about the youth. It's about doing something positive with the kid." This is basically like I just paraphrasing it. And Turkey is like, "Yeah, that's good. That's good. We want the kids to settle things in the ring, not in the streets." But the vibe I got from Calvin was basically like, "Yeah, but we don't need you for that. Go on."
Yeah.
Like
No,
that,
you know
that's
what I saw? I saw this. He kept his headphones on.
yep.
He didn't even take his headphones off. Seriously, dude. I was like, wow. Like, I'm looking for people to sell out to Turkey, bro. Like, for real. I'm looking for people to sell out because he will buy you for sure. So I was like, just like looking at just the body language, and I was like, Calvin is loyal to is loyal to Tank. Kept his headphones on. Didn't you see less and less people holding hands with him and walking down the street with him? I'm glad he didn't take no picture of him holding hands.
Oh yeah, he didn't let him hold hands. He shook Turkey's hand the same way Bob Arum did.
Hey,
Yep, just like that.
like
Just
that.
like that.
Our Lord, thank you.
Like, yeah,
Thank
you
you.
ain't gonna get me. I'll be seeing how y'all be doing. But yeah, I like that because Coach Calvin's like, yeah, we don't need you. Like Boxer, I've been handling that, so we good. So yeah, it was kind of good to see. I think Turkey feel like that's because he went ahead and said, hey, go ahead and put our name with Box Raw while they doing this. Even though Box Raw, that's how they got started in the first place, and they've been doing it by themselves. Let's go ahead and put our names on it so we can say that we working with Tank's people. And it's like, nah, we don't need you, bro. Go on.
Look, I'm gonna tell you that like the secret recipe that you guys that Turkey has to get to is that he's got to get rid of this idea that boxing is international. Boxing is not international. It's really not. At the core, it is a national sport. Every nation has its sport. You cannot sell Americans British sports. It's not going to work. You have to sell Americans American sports. You have to sell Brits British sports. NBA is suffering because it decided to go international. It was growing when it was primarily national. That's a political realism that exists within every type of organization that there is that just like the saying is politics are always local. Politics is always local. It always boils down to what they're doing for you, where you stand. Boxing and sports is national. You're not going to be able to continue. You may be able to sell the idea of Michael Jordan jumping and all that, but ultimately, basketball, the NBA is the National Basketball Association. It is not the International Basketball Association. And when they started trying to appeal to international crowds and not American ones, the interest falls away. That's just how it is because we're national. There's a flavor to Mexican soccer. There's a flavor. There's a flavor to it. There's a flavor to American boxing. There's a flavor to, we are not international. We're national. And you're trying to run this boxing on 5 different continents at the same time. Well, really 3 different continents at the same time. Turkey, you're not going to be able to do that. What's attractive to to Saudi Arabians is not attractive to Americans. We don't want ring card boys. Now, I know that you may not even see that that's an issue. And you, because I heard it asked of Jake Paul by somebody with an Arabic accent saying, hey, well, if this is a girls fight, well, why do you have girl ring card? This guy obviously doesn't understand our culture. We're never going to accept you having ring card boys. It's just not going to happen. I won't watch boxing before I fucking support you with ring card boys. No fucking way. The 16-hour cards, that works in domestic, because you know why they can do 20 fight cards in like that over there in the UK? Because they actually have a domestic level scene where these guys can all take little trips right. They're very close together. They can go to London very easily. You can't do that in the United States. You know how fucking far away Vegas is from New York? That's just like what? What is that shit like? Russia to fucking, that's just like it's like Moscow to fucking London. That's just a long ass way. But you guys don't understand that we have a national boxing. National. Have American fighters fighting American fighters. And if anything, have Americans and Mexicans fighting with each other, but preferably Mexican Americans and Black Americans. Mexican American and Black Americans fighting each other in America is going to sell. It's going to grow stars because you're going to get somebody like Oscar De La Hoya whooping everybody and fucking whooping Shane Mosley. Look how many American fighters that he beat, or Mexicans that Oscar De La Hoya beat. That's how you grow it. You are, what you're doing is you're spreading it out too thin. And that's how great empires always, that's at least what they say is how the Roman Empire fell, because you spread the shit too wide, too far, with too many different type of people. Stop thinking internationally all the damn time. I care about what's going on in the United States. We don't give a fuck about what's going on in Uzbekistan. When is Gary Russell Jr. gonna fight Tank? When is DC and Maryland champions gonna fight each other? That's DC, that's Maryland. I mean, that's DC and all of fucking Maryland. There's millions of people in that place. You're gonna be successful just having a guy from DC and Maryland, DC and Baltimore fighting each other. But you guys think, oh, this is a guy from France, this guy from Italy. But in the United States, you got to understand, this is a guy from Chicago versus a guy from New York. This is a guy from Dallas versus a guy in Omaha. That's why Terrence can't sell, because Terrence from a fucking cornfield. Fuck is going to buy his shit in a cornfield. But where is, and I'm teaching you, Turkey, listen. Why the fuck is Bam going nuts in Texas? That you don't never take Bam out of Texas. Bam should be in Texas for the rest of his fucking career. Why would you ever take Bam Rodriguez out of the fucking state of Texas? I have no clue why you would take Bam Rodriguez and take him to fucking rehab. Thinking you're going to grow him? No, you took him out of his home base. The Tejanos are going to be behind him, man. That's who's going to be behind Bam. But you want to take Bam and put Bam in Philadelphia. Take Bam, move Bam into fucking Stalingrad or some shit. No. Just like Vitaly Klitschko had to go to where? Germany. He tried to sell those Klitschkos in the United States. It failed. And the rest of his career, he was on pay-per-view in Germany, where it was close enough to Eastern Europe so that he could sell. That's why Tyson Fury can't sell in the United States. But you idiots thought Tyson was the reason that Deontay Wilder fought sold. No. It was Black Americans who were supporting him. And you guys want to fucking always limit by buying a bunch of coons and sellouts with a bunch of raggedy fucking hair extensions in their fucking head, acting like monkeys, thinking that they can manipulate us into believing that Turki Alashiek is the deliverer of boxing when all he's doing is delivering you little peons some money. Boxing is national. Sports are national. Your mama's a buster, nigga. What are you talking about? Your mama's a buster. That's what I'm talking about. You guys always want to tear down our champions to sell your bullshit. The Americans we don't want your bullshit. You can tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you a whole bunch of people ain't never going to be big in the United States. I can name them. Joe Ipatai, what's his name? He can fight his ass off too. Jai Opatai is never going to be big in the United States. Never. I don't care what you do. He will never be big in the United States. Alexander Usyk will never be big in the United States. You know where he'll be big? Chicago. Take his ass to Chicago. You have Alexander Usyk in Chicago, that shit's going to go bananas in Chicago for Alexander Usyk. You niggas ain't ever thought about trying to bring Alexander Usyk to Chicago. Kidding me? You know how many Ukrainians there are in Chicago? How many Polish there are in Chicago? How many Eastern and Central Europeans there are in Chicago that would fucking love to see Alexander Usyk there? But you guys don't even know that that's where you sell Alexander Usyk. Sell him in Chicago, where there's a bunch of Ukrainians. They got, man, I had Ukrainians all through my school with their, you ever have some Ukrainian Easter eggs? Like make designer Easter eggs and all that shit. That shit is all over Chicago, bro. But you guys never even think you can sell Alexander Usyk in Chicago. You guys don't know the United States of America. You don't know your market, Turkey. How are you going to be successful if you don't even understand the market you're in? I guarantee you I can sell out a fight with Gary Russell Jr. and Gervonta. I guarantee you. That shit's going to be top fucking dollar, bro. You're going to be able to charge big money per ticket for that shit in DC. But no, let's stall Gervonta. Let's stall Gary out. Bring some garbage ass nigga from Henderson, Nevada. Ain't nobody living in Henderson, Nevada, dog. Nobody lives in Henderson, Nevada. Now, maybe if Devin had lived in Oakland and lived there and fought there really lived there, he could be selling out in Oakland. But I don't think, because he's a fugazi ass nigga. Anyway, yeah, Gary and Tank up in New York City. That's what you guys are getting wrong. What's your take on that? Come on.
Man, you nailed it, Fanon. Also, man, how many Ukrainians are in Brooklyn or in New York City? Why aren't they bringing Usyk to New York City? There are so many Ukrainians, even before the war kicked off and all the refugees came in. There is a huge community of Ukrainians in New York City. When what was his name? When Derevyanchenko fought Danny Jacobs, Derevyanchenko had a healthy, and Derevyanchenko is highly disrespected because he's associated with the PBC. One of the best amateur fighters ever. I think he had a record of 305-10 or something in the amateur. Sergey Derevyanchenko. Why don't you have Usyk fighting in New York City and Brooklyn? There are so many Ukrainians. These guys don't know boxing. So you have Turkey who's saying, hey, Matias, you want to fight Dalton Smith? You want to fight Dalton Smith? Well, Gary Antoine Russell versus Subriel Matias is all gas, no brakes. It is the opposite of quote-unquote Tom and Jerry. So who the fuck cares about Dalton Smith? Again, a cricket player, a croquet player. We don't want to see this versus Subriel Matias. We didn't want to see Liam Paro versus Subriel Matias. Make damn Gary Antoine Russell, and I don't say damn to Gary Antoine Russell, I'm saying it to in reference to Turkey. Make Gary Antoine Russell versus Subriel Matias. That's fireworks, Fanon. Make Tiho versus Subriel Matias. There's so many backstories. Tio's been ducking this guy for years. Why are you talking about Dalton Smith? Again, these guys don't know the marketplace, Fanon. You have all the pieces in place at cruiserweight, but you're having Jai Opetaia fight bum after bum after bum. I mean, I don't get it, Fanon. I really don't. Then Africa's finally free from Eddie Hearns, and now you're saying you're going to basically, I don't know if you cover this, Fanon, Turkey announced he's going to block Africa if he doesn't fight under Matchroom's umbrella. So you're kneecapping Africa.
What do you mean he's going to block Africa?
I don't know if you heard about this. He said that he will not allow, I forgot the exact word, and he said that he will not be a part of any Africa fights that are not with under the Matchroom umbrella, even though Richardson Hitchens' contract with Matchroom is done. So he said he's not going to be a part of any of those Africa fights unless.
That's coercion.
Yep.
Africa needs to leave.
He needs to go to PBC.
He just need to go. Dude, seriously, man, that's coercion. That's like you're going to force this man to sign to a promoter. That's a violation of the Ali Act.
Yep.
Absolutely.
But again, since he's living in Saudi Arabia, you know, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, I don't get you guys. This dude is totally arbitrary. Just arbitrary. Because he does not have to learn. The man's taking flamethrowers to somebody's money, man. And I got to believe these dudes got gambling problems or something. I have no idea. Africa can't fight for Riyadh if he ain't signed to Eddie. Go ahead, y'all. I don't know what to say
I
about
was going to say this before I hop off.
Oh, I got something. Go ahead.
Yeah, because the reason that Turkey is failing is like in business, that's what they call the self-reference criterion. You know, you be thinking everything works everywhere else in the world the same way it does for you back at home, and you don't take time to learn the market, and you just operating like you ain't never left home. That's why some people that go to start businesses in other countries, they don't learn the culture, they don't learn what the people are like, they don't learn anything, and then within 6 months they're packing up and leaving because things didn't work out for them. That's exactly what this dude got going on, except he just got so many people holding hands with him that it's not really affecting him yet. But yeah.
Pull out bandit, bro. It's not called size of the street. No, pull out bandit. It is not called size of the street. You know why? Because Turkey's not playing on a side of the street. He is trying to buy the whole neighborhood. He's not on a difference because he's not a promoter. You understand? If Turki Al-Sheikh is already working with Samson Leskovich, because he is working with Samson Leskovich, because Samson Leskovich has the David Benavidez on the card, pull out bandit. Turkey is working with a bunch of promoters. So why would Turkey tell Richardson Hitchens that he cannot work with any of the other promoters that Turkey's already working with? Let me repeat that, pull out bandit, because you are giving way too much leniency to this fucking scumbag. Okay? If I say Turkey, if I can fight with Frank Warren, why can't Richardson Hitchens work with Frank Warren? Huh? If it's okay for Alexander Usyk to work with whoever his promoter is, why isn't it okay for Richardson Hitchens to work for that same promoter? If Turki Al-Sheikh is okay with working with Oscar De La Hoya for a Ryan Garcia fight, then why wouldn't Turki Al-Sheikh be okay with Richardson Hitchens fighting with Oscar De La Hoya? Now, pull out bandit, I'm very tolerant of you. I really am. But bro, you are coming off like a shill, bro. I mean it, bro. You defend some shit that makes me wonder what you're thinking. How can you understand? How is it okay for somebody to tell a person, an underling, which of the companies he's available to work with? So that means he's going to tell Canelo, I won't work with Canelo. I'll work with Canelo if Canelo is with Oscar, but I won't work with Richardson Hitchens if Richardson Hitchens is with Oscar. No, the problem is not T.O. The problem is that this man needs to get his fucking arbitrary ass out of every fucking decision, pull out bandit. Why in the world should Richardson Hitchens be concerned with what Turki Al-Sheikh thinks about who his promoter is?
Facts.
It's just flat out called coercion. It's coercion. You're going to work for him, boy, not for him. No, it's coercion, and it's him trying to manipulate the promoters, the managers. It's a walking violation of the Ali Act. You're telling this man that you are the main provider of money. If he has a monopoly in the sport, say he has a true monopoly. Dog, pull out bandit. I got to let you go in a second, bro. He threatened Africa. I don't give a fuck what he did. Why would he threaten Africa about T.O.? Mind your fucking business, Turkey. What are you talking about, pull out bandit? How is he fucking behaving? How is he threatening Richardson Hitchens over T.O., fighting T.O., if he fights him under some other card? He also told Bivol if he knows what's good. He's a fucking warlord. He's a fucking warlord out of Saudi Arabia. Bossing the little Americans around about who they can sign with and who they can't sign with. You're telling me that he can tell an American citizen, Richardson Hitchens, that he can't fight unless he fights for a British promoter? What the fuck are you talking about, pull out bandit? Bye. You're not shilling for this nigga around me no more, Pull-Out Bandit. You've been shilling for 2 straight fucking days. No more shill, nigga. I played you, and I'm okay with you over there on Twitter, and I knew what you was. But you're going to stop that shit today, bro. You're out here trying to fry up Gary Russell Jr. yesterday, putting all the responsibility on Gary Russell Jr. Now you got a fucking international fucking military fucking officer threatening American citizens named Richardson Hitchens and saying that he won't support him unless he signs with a Brit. Do you think I'm fucking blind, Pull-Out Bandit? You think we're stupid? This is his attempt to manipulate American boxing and to gut American boxing. And yet he can threaten? Who is this motherfucker to be threatening boxers with anything? Every once in a while, you may hear Bob Arum say you signed with the wrong promoter. You would never hear Bob Arum say, sign me or else you'll never eat. Your mama's, and I'm a crybaby because your mama gives good head, nigga. Go ahead, I'm sorry. That's why I'm a crybaby.
And I think,
cry, nigga.
And that's a good example of what I came up here to say. It's a lot of people that, Fanon, they just won't recognize the reality of what's going on with Turkey. And when you have criticisms and you point these things out, they say, oh, it's because you don't like him. And I want to say this, and I want to keep saying this. Please stop insulting my emotional intelligence and making it seem like I formulate opinions off if I like you or not. I don't know Turkey. I can't like him or not like him. So that's a mute point. The point is, the reality is Turkey is doing all of these things and people keep excusing it under the guise of, well, they all do that. All promoters do that. They all do. No, they all fucking don't, y'all. Like, stop saying that. They can't even do some of the shit that y'all saying. There's no way that Turkey should be getting away with this. He on the internet trying to clown Tim Tszyu because Tim Tszyu didn't sign with him. He threatening Bivol or whoever that was. He threatened, but you know who did this for you and all of this other stuff. Why is Turkey wants so much attention? And people keep talking about, oh, Turkey took the A side, B side away. No, he didn't. Turkey's the fucking A side.
There you go.
The A-side.
There you go. He took it and take the A side, B side away. He just took the whole fucking thing.
He's the A side. You do whatever you fight at whatever weight he wants you to fight at. You fight how he want. He's telling you now. He's telling people how he want them to fight. Like, this shit is gonna get outrageous and out of control. And by that time, it'll be too late because people. I don't know what it is. I don't know if people trying to get brand deals or. I don't know what they're trying to do, but I'm watching these people sit on these channels and virtue signal and race bait and then go and support Turkey. It's like y'all doing the complete opposite of what y'all saying it is y'all want. Oh, Turkey putting on the fights we want to see. Turkey putting up the money. Turkey doing this and Turkey doing that. Like, it's like y'all blinded by that. And now y'all seeing Turkey controlling, blocking people out of fights, trying to do this, trying to do that, and nobody is saying nothing. They're mute about it. And I think I made a video about how Turkey was talking about Hitchison need to be loyal, but then you over here trying to get other fighters to come fight with you. You want Tank to come sign with you and do all this other stuff. So you don't have a problem with other people not being loyal to whoever they disloyal to for you, but you want people to be loyal to you. Like, that shit don't make no sense. And this thing going on with Eddie Hearn, like, what is that? Is that why Shakur Stevenson with Eddie Hearn? Because he has to be with Eddie Hearn to work with Turkey? Why can't Shakur Stevenson work with Turkey directly? He's a free agent. Like, I don't understand the whole you got to be with Eddie Hearn to work with me. Like, what is that about? Why do I have to be with Eddie Hearn? Because all Eddie Hearn is doing is collecting his percentage. Like, he a pimp or something. Eddie Hearn ain't putting up no money for no fights. He not doing that. Turkey doing all that. Why do I got to be signed with him?
Because that nigga laundering some money. That's why. That's my opinion. Because them niggas got some fucking hookup for him to get a certain number of fighters and to be a fucking puppet promoter of violation of Muhammad Ali Act.
He's getting 20-25% of what these fighters are getting, and he's not doing nothing.
It's called sham promoters. He's doing exactly what they accused Al Heyman of doing, of having a platform and a bunch of sham promoters, because the promoters themselves are not making the decisions. They are not that Turkey's acting like the manager of Shakur because he has negotiated a deal with Shakur's promoter, Matchroom. So Turkey in this instance is trying to do an Al Heyman. He's being a financier and an advisor and a manager because he's dealing directly with fighters, but telling the fighters what promoter they have to work with. However, it's just reversing it because the money is now going to be completely dependent upon the relationship between the manager and the promoter. That's a violation of the Ali Act. You're not supposed to be the promoter and the manager, but you're managing his career by forcing him through coercion to sign with a promoter that you pick for him. That's a violation of the Muhammad Ali Act. Clear a violation of the letter of the spirit of the Muhammad Ali Act to have a firewall between the promoter and the manager. Turkey's just being the manager and paying for everything and then having sham promoters put their name on top of it. They're even treating Ring Magazine like they're a promoter now. Ring Tournament. So Ring is promoting, but you got to then sign with the secondary promoter. What's Ring's cut out of this? They're creating levels where they can wash this damn money is what they're doing. The more hands you have in the pie, that means the more money can get leaked out. Of course, you don't want a straight deal between Shakur Stevenson and Turki Al-Sheikh. That means Shakur gets all the money. And then Turkey can't funnel some of that money off in a fee to Eddie Hearn and Josh Warren and Frank Warren, who helps him hold down the UK. Trust me, I got the politics on this shit. That's why they're forcing him to sign with UK promoters, because he said, don't you dare sign with an American promoter. Because Turkey already got the UK promoters locked down. His problem is with American promoters that he doesn't have locked down. So you can't sign with Al Heyman. You can't sign with Turkey. You can't sign with Samson Leskovic. You can't sign with Eddie. You can't sign with Oscar. You can't sign with Top Rank. You have to sign with Eddie, because Eddie and me and Frank got a deal in the UK. So you need to be over here. So that is a vibe. But guess what? He's doing it from Saudi Arabia. And the argument is, well, does the Ali Act apply to fights for American citizens that fight in the UK? But Africa, go to the PBC if they take you. Because personally, I don't think the PBC is going to take a lot of you fucks. I don't. Because you guys talk a lot of shit and you're not that good. Look at all the bullshit talking that Devin did and Ryan did and T.O. did. All them motherfuckers fell apart. All of them fell apart. So why would Al Heyman want to come and bring your headache ass into his life? I'm telling you, I just think Al Heyman is just going to sit back and watch this shit fall apart, because you cannot have one man control the global, every national sport. Britain's national boxing, Ireland's national boxing, Saudi Arabia's national boxing. No, bro, that's what I see anyway.
And I got two more things. My second thing I want to say is, every time you mention Turkey, they say he's doing the same thing Al Heyman did. No, the fuck he's not. Please stop saying that and disrespecting Al Heyman like that, y'all. He's nowhere near, hear me, he's nowhere near doing the same thing that Al Heyman did. All y'all keep referring to is him overpaying fighters. That's one thing. It's not the same thing. So please stop saying that.
No, but hold on. That's not even accurate, because Eddie Hearn, let me tell you where the term overpaying is. Overpaying is relative. It's a relative thing. What Al Heyman did was he cut out the middleman, which was managers that would take 30%, and he's only taking 10%. So that gives you more money from the same pool. He also allows you to be the promoter. So that means you pay a promotional fee to yourself. That also gives you a bigger cut of the same pie. So you can argue that you're giving the fighter too much of the pie. That's what Rick Glazier says. Because Rick Glazier, my understanding is, wants Al Heyman to pay him fees wants Al Heyman to pay him a fee, a finder's fee for getting the fight on there. Al Heyman says, no, I'm not going to give you a finder's fee. I'm going to just give that finder's fee straight to the fighter himself. Fighters first. So you have somebody like Rick Glazier or somebody like that that's in the, or managers that are used to kind of, extracting more money from fights, where Al Heyman doesn't allow him to do that. So therefore, there's more money in of that same pool goes to the fighter, right? So if there's $1 million, instead of 100,000 going to the fighter, 300,000 goes to the fighter, because we took out $200,000 in costs that were extraneous that people are used to charging. That's what Al Heyman did. He did it by a managerial move that reduced cost. What Turkey is doing is just flat out giving the money out and losing amounts of money. He's not doing what Al Heyman did. Al Heyman was not cutting checks for more money. That is a basic misunderstanding that people have that don't understand how businesses work. You can make more money one or two ways, or several ways, but the two main ways are you keep your cost the same and pull in more revenue, or you keep your revenue the same and you decrease your cost. What Al Heyman did was the second. Revenue's probably the same, but we're going to decrease our cost and shift it to the fighters so they can make more money. Turkey is saying our whole event is losing money, but I'll just dump and take a loss and just pour a bunch of money on it so that I can outbid Al Heyman. But what I'm telling you is the structure of Al Heyman is going to stay in business. The structure of Turkey Al-Sheikh is highly, highly, highly unstable because it's based on the personal preferences and idiosyncrasies of Turkey Al-Sheikh himself, where under the Al Heyman scenario, it's just a very solid business model that will create ongoing profits, but yet never really put you at risk of going out of business, because essentially the PBC goes out of business after every event. They do it event by event. And everybody that works for those guys, I already know, are 1099s. So the only time Al Heyman and those guys are paying people is when there's an actual event. The production crew, the fighter, the Sam Watson, all of those guys. But they have an event, then they have another event, then they have another event. This dude is literally trying to have an event everywhere in the world, all at the same time, pulling strings in every country. That shit is going to fall apart. Without a doubt, it's going to fall apart. The only question is, how many of you guys are going to get damaged in the process? Real quick, Phenomenal Show said, we're talking about someone that's on the radar of the FBI, the CIA, and NSA. Let me add those. Why are you saying them? We're talking about someone that's on the radar of the FBI, and I'm going to add the NSA and the CIA, and openly sits with known spies who the FBI can snipe at a drop of the dime. That's how closely they are monitoring them. This is ridiculous. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then one more super chat after that. Thank you so much, brother. Nuke the Duke said, bring boxing back on Wild World of Sports. Please bring Wild World of Sports back. Let me see if I'm missing something. Victor said, good morning, brother. Turkey does more harm to fighters' future than good. I mean, he's really going to, I'm telling you, man, he's trying to gut American boxing. It's a calculated business move to gut American boxing. It absolutely is. Turkey has exploited American greed. Turkey gets away with things because people say he's paying the bag. Yep. And then, yeah, it is. I agree 100%. Go ahead, Tucson. I'm sorry. Or Kamal, either one.
And Kamal, you got something to say? I know I'm hogging the conversation, but this is so irritating. Like, we've been saying this whole time, and people keep thinking it has something to do with you liking the PBC or you liking. It don't have nothing to do with that. I'm just watching what's going on. You're letting a foreign entity come into American boxing, take boxers out of America, take them somewhere else, and y'all are championing that because y'all sitting up here with all this virtue signaling. Oh, it's because the other promoters couldn't do what they needed to do, and they didn't want to make the fights, and they didn't want to put on the fights that people want to see, and they didn't want to pay the fighters, and they didn't. When that's not what's happening. Just because if I got unlimited money, somebody comes into an industry with unlimited money and just could throw around and do whatever the fuck they want, they're not competing in that market. Who can compete with them? I can't compete with you because I have to make a profit. I can't afford to lose that kind of money. So it don't got nothing to do with like they just was like, nah, we ain't putting them fights on. We gonna keep it. No, they gotta make a profit. These things have to be profitable. They gotta make sense. The fighters are the ones that want more money and all this extra shit. So when Turkey come over here throwing it around and everybody's encouraging them to do it, go overseas and do all this because boxing is a world sport. I don't even understand what that means. The money made in boxing is made here in America. I don't need to go overseas to fight because it's a quote unquote world sport. I'm not going to sell. I'm an American. You think I'm going to go to another country and they're going to support me as an American? No, I want to fight in America. I don't understand that logic. But the last thing I want to say is Jerron Boots Ennis, in my opinion, needs to leave Eddie Hearn. I don't understand why every time you turn around, Jerron Boots Ennis is saying no to something and all of a sudden he's the duck. There is a strong agenda to paint Jerron Boots Ennis as a duck for some reason when he hasn't done anything but get ducked. He got ducked the whole time he was at 147 pounds and now all of a sudden he's a duck. How does that work? Virgil Ortiz is hurt. He say, okay, I'll take a tune-up fight. I'll fight you next. Oh, he a duck. Why he can't wait? Why he got a tune-up? You got Turkey coming out. Champions need tune-ups. I don't like that shit. Y'all only do black boxers like that. Any other fighter want to take a tune-up is not a problem. A black fighter want to move up, get acclimated to a weight, take a tune-up, and not first of all, he didn't even say he needed a tune-up. Second of all, what's the problem with him wanting to get acclimated to a weight? I don't understand that. And the only reason why he's saying he want to tune up, even if he said that, is because Virgil Ortiz is not available. But y'all want him to just sit around and wait, or otherwise it's none of it makes sense. I don't like how Eddie Hearn continues to let Turkey use his propaganda machine to run this agenda against Boots and don't say nothing. And then Eddie hops on interviews and makes the situations even worse. And I don't understand it. Anybody that cannot see it's a clear agenda against Boots is tripping. I like Boots. I think he's a great fighter, but I'm not no super Boots fan. But what I'm not going to let y'all do is run this campaign against him, painting him as a duck all of a sudden when he's literally was the most duck fighter at 147 pounds.
Don't hop off, Two Cents. Don't hop off yet, because go ahead, Fanon. I didn't want Two Cents to hop off.
Go ahead, come on.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. Fanon can attest to this. I've been saying that for months. I said Jerron Boots Ennis jumped the gun. I said Terrence Twitter Fingers Duckford was holding up and retarding the 147-pound division. So that's why we didn't get the Stanionis fights and the Barrios fights before, because they weren't proper unifications. Because only Daryl Peoples and the IBF, they're the only sanctioning body that does their jobs. They've stripped Canelo and Bumlovkin twice. So I said that he and Bozy, who I love, I really like them, tremendous respect, jumped the gun and listening to the Pied Piper, Eddie Hearn's promises when they just needed to wait. So yes, Eddie Hearns has not done his job in terms of defending his client, Boots Ennis, when there was a conversation about him allegedly ducking Virgil Ortiz, which I said was a setup at 154. Let me tell you something. You guys don't remember this. And you people in the audience, you jabronis in the audience don't remember this. Virgil Ortiz's first fight at 154 was against somebody who should have never been cleared to fight in the sport of boxing again, Fanon and 2 Cents and everybody in the audience. And I'm not calling y'all jabronis. I'm talking to people in the audience. I wouldn't dare say that. I got tremendous respect for the two of you. Tremendous knowledge up here. He had a fight with somebody who had an aneurysm. Yes. Virgil Ortiz's first fight at 154 was against a dude with an active brain aneurysm who somehow got cleared to fight in the sport of boxing. Never should have happened. Golden Boy was criminal for allowing that and scheduling that. But when Boots mentions Virgil Ortiz is injured, let me get another fight, we want to call Boots a duck. There is a concerted agenda by the YouTube echo chambers, along with their allies in corporate media, to paint Jerron Boots Ennis as a duck and to lie and slander this man's name. And it is disgusting. They're trying to do the same thing to Boots, and they have been what they did to Tank Davis. Boots had a 3-fight deal, to my knowledge, with Matchroom. That is done. The only person defending him when they were calling him a duck for the Virgil Ortiz situation was Steven Espinosa. He and Bozy need to go back over to Prime. The money's there, the positioning is there, the fights are there. Keith Thurman at 154. Sebastian Fundora at 154. Jermel Charlo, Erickson Lubin, Bakra Murtalayev winner. All the things, all they need is at 154. Eddie Hearns is doing him a disservice. He's allowing Turkey to damage this guy's brand when he is a humble guy. He's not like Twitterson, Shakur Twitterson, who's tweeting and saying that Tyson Fury is better than Muhammad Ali and discounting Ray Robinson. All Jerron Boots Ennis does on Twitter is talking about how he's in the gym or he's in church. What you are trying to do to this young man is criminal. I want to get y'all's thoughts on that before you hop off.
Okay, my thoughts on it is this. I've known that these people have been trying to tear down Jerron Boots Ennis for a long time because I've been doing business. I've been doing videos about Jerron Ennis probably before any of these other people were doing videos on Jerron. And that whole situation with Terrence Crawford, it started it off. And so once somebody starts framing you for a duck, then that label sticks on you. And then anything that you do is going to be interpreted that way. That's what happens when you slander people and when you gaslight people. That's what happens. So once I take, for example, what Bill Haney did and Blue Blood did, and I'll name names. I don't give a fuck. Blue Blood did it to Boots. He was the first one I saw do it to him. And right there, I was like, okay, they're going to try to destroy Boots. I knew it from then. Because of that bullshit about where Terrence Crawford said that he really was seriously considering fighting Jerron Ennis instead of fighting Errol Spence. And Blue Blood said he had set up a meeting between Bud and all that shit and Showtime asked for too much. All that bullshit was just for views and a bunch of shit to tear down Jerron Ennis. To my life of me don't understand why boxers keep talking to people like that, who are obviously out to destroy their reputations, to build their own. It was clear from there what was going on with Jerron Ennis. I said something about it then. It was like, look, there's no fucking way, no way that you seriously can believe that Terrence Crawford was going to fight Jerron Ennis on Showtime instead of Errol Spence. In between the David Avenetian fight and the Errol Spence fight, Terrence Crawford was seriously taking that into consideration. No. Blue Blood had a relationship with BLK Prime. He was trying to grow BLK Prime, and he tried to move a second fight over there. And then because Jerron didn't take it because it was a dumbass idea to begin with that was never going to happen, you got to frame this man as a duck instead of just admitting that you tried to set up a fight and the fight fell through because it wasn't a reasonable fight to take. A lot of this ducking is from people that are getting paid for setting up fights. That's why I was called by Bill Haney originally, was to try to get a fight done between Gary Russell Jr. and Devin Haney. And I did a whole conversation where I did it as a cat's paw for 78 Sports TV. And I said, okay, I'll help you guys negotiate to get this fight done. Of course, people wanted to get paid for getting the Gary Russell Jr. and Devin Haney fight done. They were going to get paid if that fight got done. I didn't want any money for it, so I just said, hey, why don't you guys just do this, do that, do this? And then once the fucking money started hitting the deck, everybody wanted to shove me to the side so they could start scrounging off of fucking Bill Haney's money. And now I was the one that set the fight up. I did it. These guys are auditioning to do the same suck-up bullshit that Rick Glazier does, where you are getting paid fees for being the one behind the scenes that can wrangle these guys into these fights. These are the same peon-ass niggas that I'm telling you, and I'm not talking specifically about Blue Blood on this sentence. However, these peon-ass niggas, a lot of them are going to go to jail for the shit that they're doing. That's what Phenomenal Show is saying. Nigga, the FBI is on you dudes. So anyway, yes, you got these people. If you don't do what some of these people want you to do, they will use their social media platforms and their connections with their other scumbag friends to put a whole narrative on you that will drag you to the ground. So absolutely, Boots probably ran foul of them because Boots won't pay them any money to set up fights for them. So they're going to make them pay by the shit that they say about them on the internet. That's what you're doing. I know it because I designed the system. They just wanted to have one, and I made a mistake. I made the mistake of saying what was more powerful. They wanted to have one podcast And that podcast will be the center place where they did it. I said, no, what you should have, you need about 30, 40 of them. And then they can all say the same thing at the same time. And I called those things widgets. Bill Haney cracked a joke like I didn't know what he meant when he came the last time I talked to him and said, yeah, I listened to you for non-widgets. I'm like, nigga, first of all, you probably can't spell widgets, but obviously that's what you guys are doing. You guys get a bunch of fake. First of all, they got a bunch of AI channels too. They got a bunch of AI, flat out AI channels just telling lies off automatic voices. And they got a bunch of smaller channels that are getting paid, not by YouTube, getting paid by them to spread this shit and make you pay if you don't do what they say. Because these guys think that they're pushing buttons behind the scenes. That's what they think. They think they can push buttons on niggas from behind the scenes. And I've been telling you these niggas ain't nothing. They're nothing. But you guys want to fucking deal with these dudes, let them say whatever, because, oh, I trust them. Why the fuck did you trust them? And that's what Boots did. Boots should have never let them niggas in their gym. Boots should have never fucking taken a call from them. Boots should have never had that meeting had that shit go down with Steven Espinoza. Shouldn't have done any of that shit. He should have sat there, let the dude that died, I can't remember his name,
Cameron Duncan,
handle the business and stay away from those conversations with those people. Because I know they're trying to muscle people because these dumbass niggas tried to muscle me. Like, I know what they are. They are a bunch of little muscling niggas, man, that are trying. If they can't get you to do what they want, they're going to run your name into the fucking ground, which is why you should probably sue them. Like, the fastest way to get these dudes off your ass is sue them. Seriously. If it was me, all these niggas would be up. All these niggas would be up on, hey, man, tortious interference with contractual relations. Tortious interference with contractual relations. You are purposely lying about me on the internet for the purposes of submarining my reputation within the boxing community. That is tortious interference with contractual relations. Also, you can sue Turki Alashiek for that as well. If Turki Alashiek is threatening Richard Hitchens and saying, Richardson Hitchens, if you sign with any other promotion, guess what that is? That is a tortious interference with contractual relations. Because you are trying to prevent this man from doing business with the people that he wants to do business with because you're threatening him. Turki is acting like the same little bum-ass scumbag thugs that are in these boxing gyms, man. And I'm telling you, from somebody that has been dealing with, I don't even deal with peons at that level. But those peons come around me. That's how crazy they are. They're actually trying to walk up on niggas that will eliminate them. That's how fucking crazy they are. You all need to leave these people the fuck alone is what you need to do. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and it's just like people think this is so cut and dry and old. Like, no, it's something very dubious. Is that the word going on here?
Dubious. Yes, it's dubious. It's nefarious.
I don't know why people can see it, because there's no way you can fix your lips to say Jerron Boots Ennis is ducking Virgil Ortiz after he ducked him his whole time at 147 pounds. Said he needed 48 months to get ready to fight Boots. And then some miscommunications happen. He get offered a fight or whatever. And then the very 5 minutes later, all these media outlets is putting out how Boots is a duck and Oscar tweeting and Virgil tweeting. That's an agenda, y'all. That's not natural. That's not genuine. That's not genuinely happening. It's very disingenuous. And he just needs to go. He just needs to go from Matchroom, go with Al, let Al make him a star, and go about his business. Because Eddie Hearn is not gonna make no fucking American boxing star. He's not gonna do it, y'all. He's not. So I don't know why they keep going over there. I guess for the money, but is it really worth it? Because he's really lowering them fighters' values.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes
what fights are at 154? Sorry to interrupt you, Fanon. I want to get your thoughts on this. Other than Virgil Ortiz, who's actually with Golden Boy, what are the fights outside of the PBC umbrella at 154 for Boots? So why stay with Eddie Hearn?
Boop. None. I don't know. He seems like a very natural fit for the PBC, is to me. Boots seems like very natural. It's the same crew that brought him up. He doesn't have to worry about anybody playing any stupid games. But, you know, they're not going to allow a rise of a black star. I'm telling you. This international cabal of bullshit media people have not allowed one black fighter from the United States to be celebrated. Of all, think about it. Name the big American black stars, and you tell me one of the motherfuckers that have ever been treated well by the media. You can't find it. Maybe Sugar Ray Leonard. Maybe. Sugar Ray Leonard after Ali. But Ali, Jack Johnson treated like shit. Ali treated like shit. Joe Louis treated like shit.
They don't do Terrence Crawford like that.
Because Terrence Crawford ain't no star. Terrence Crawford is the opposite. He's the honorary white dude. Just like they tear down Ali. He's like the Uncle Tom. He is. He's the one that is going to do. He's like, for me, I think he's in the general characteristics. I think he's like a combination of the thug, the violent thug, and a Tom, because he supports the structure, the white structure of boxing for sure. He even said, "Why would I ever go? Why would I market myself to people that are always going to support me anyway?" He goes to white shows. That's him. He's a Tom. And I don't mean the Tom in the sense that he hates black people. I mean, he's a Tom in the sense that he is out there supporting the structure. He signed with Top Rank. He went along with all the Top Rank topping points. He got the fights out of Top Rank. He did everything that Top Rank wanted him to do until they got sick of losing money on him. And then he wants to sue him and call him racist, right? Tom. He's a Tom. So the more violent, the more. So yeah, that's what I think that you're looking for in Terrence Crawford, and now they're going to try to get him against Canelo and all of that. But Terrence Crawford never was a draw within the black community. Errol Spence is the draw within the black community, and you saw all of the different things that they said and did to Errol Spence. Because I'm sorry, man, I don't believe in coincidences. I think a man that keeps getting in car accidents all the time is getting muscled. And I don't believe, and I listened to enough of that. What's that new dude's name? Mo3 and Yellow Beezy shit. To know that these dudes are fucking around with boxing and somebody around them is trying to get their hands on boxers' money. So I knew something was going to go down. I saw what was going down with Errol Spence, and I'm like, they had a campaign to destroy Errol Spence too. I don't believe in the coincidences of those car accidents and constantly having some shit go wrong with him. Busting his rib. Somebody busts his rib in sparring before the Terrence Crawford fight. He comes out looking all glassy-eyed and all that shit. Same way Deontay Wilder came out, looked like a fucking zombie, and then they treated like, oh, he said it was his headgear. And they immediately start making fun of him because he said it was his headgear. No, he didn't. He said, I don't know what it is. Maybe it was my headgear. I don't know. But they ridicule him, they ridicule him, they ridicule him, they ridicule him. Same, I'm telling you, these people are playing games, bro. And these people are going to get investigated. These people are doping fighters. These dudes are playing with people's gloves. They're loading gloves. They're doing all kind of shit. I heard rumors that I'm not even getting into about what happened with the Manny Pacquiao fight and that scoring and how it was a draw and how some real big money people lost a ton of money because they put all that goddamn money on Manny Pacquiao and it wound up being a draw. But guess what? People lost on both sides of that, man. There's a lot of hungry, broke-ass niggas right now after that Manny Pacquiao fight because and I'm telling you, I know this because I know it. Y'all lost a ton of money on that fight, bro. And trust you me, they're going to have to try to come get that money back somehow. But because you remember, they lost a ton of money on that draw with Tank. They lost a ton of money on that draw with Manny Pacquiao, bro. That is not a coincidence, dog. These niggas did not allow them to clean that money through those fights. I'm telling you, bro.
Wow, that's deep. That's deep.
Think about how much money they lost on those PBC draws. Think. That's a lot of money that Vegas won. Vegas kept the money, and them big gamblers lost all their money. And Vegas keeps every dime because you guys are not betting on draws. You're not betting on draws. You're not. So now you got to go try to get your money out the fighters. These guys are trying to get money right out of fighters' pockets, bro. Because like that's what they're doing with the finder's fees and shit. They want their money. Derek James out of blue sues Errol for $2 million for fees that he said he owed him after that fight. You know what happened with that website, that lawsuit? Nothing. Nothing's been filed on that shit in a year. But yet it's still sitting on top of his head that somebody tried to get $2 million out of his pocket. And I don't even believe that that was Derrick James doing it. I think Derrick James did the shit because he was told to do it, not because he was actually looking to get that money. That's why I never had any problem with Derrick James. But you guys have concerted efforts to destroy these fighters. And then these people are looking at that shit. You can't keep sticking your hand in PBC fights, fucking up venues for people. All of a sudden, people are getting in car accidents, head-on car accidents, shit like that, bro. Come on, man. You niggas is out there trying to put your thumb on the scale of fights, gambling, then giving people the last little minutes because you fucked somebody over. You know he's injured, so now everybody gonna put the money on the fight. Yeah, you niggas put all that money on Lamont Roach and lost all that money when that shit was a draw. I'm loving it. And I'm telling you, it's gonna get worse. The FBI is on you niggas, man. They're on you. They're not gonna allow you to fix a fight. They're not. They're sitting, I'm telling you, they're sitting right there. When you guys are doing this shit, they're sitting right there. They're not going to allow you to fix a fight. They will force them motherfuckers to turn a draw before they allow you to fix a fight one way or another. That's the only fight fixing going to happen. People are going to fix it to a draw. They're not allowing people to flat out fix it for Mario. They didn't allow you to fix it for Manny. Just like with Gervonta, they didn't allow you to fix that fight against Gervonta. You didn't allow them. Didn't allow you to do it. That's why he said it's going to be a draw. Draw.
And to pick up what both of y'all are saying, people want to paint Boots as a duck. Do you guys remember how Golden Boy and specifically
one second. Mr. Griffin, I want you to understand something. I'm an educated man. I'm not a moron. When I called him a Tom, I literally meant Uncle Tom from Uncle Tom's Cabin. And I mean what an Uncle Tom is. An Uncle Tom is a reliable Negro for white people to do business with. And it is somebody that will be aligned to them and work with them. Now, if you can tell me one instance of Terrence Crawford working with a black promoter, let me know. The way that Huh? Was that you? Come on.
No, I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I got feedback. Yeah. So when I say Uncle Tom, no, I literally mean it in a literary sense. There are Uncle Toms. There are Sambos. There's the Wild Brute. There's the Jezebel. There's the Aunt Jemima. These are all common characteristics that are portrayed in the media by white writers who want to represent black people in a way that's acceptable to white people. So guess who Bud's advisors are? CAA, that's creative artists. Creative artists are the ones that are putting him in all these situations and promoting him. And he absolutely is playing the Tom because he continues to support the system as it is. Al Heyman is a bad guy. Those Negroes aren't worth trusting with money. I would rather trust some Arab dude that I never met with my money before I trust Al Heyman to touch my money. So when I call him an Uncle Tom, I'm not calling him in some ignorant way. I mean it like I mean it. When there's Uncle Tom's Cabin, there's the good Negro that is always going to do what the status quo tells him to do. He's never going to be a danger. He's never going to stand up and fight for the good of black people and risk himself. He's never going to be that. And Terrence Crawford has never been that, ever. And he's always been the good boy who's did what Bob Arum said to do and fight whoever he put in front of him. It was only when Bob Arum let him go that he was willing to get out there on his own. But what did he do? He became a good old boy for Massa Turkey. He went from Massa Tom, from Massa Bob to Massa Turkey. And now what's he doing? Apologizing for Teofimo Lopez calling black people monkeys. And what did Terrence Crawford do? Terrence Crawford put his arm around him and said, oh, I support Teo. No, that's not a bit much. That's Uncle Tom. He went and validated Teofimo Lopez, who was going to be fighting on a Turki Alashiek card, and said, this is my guy. After he had called black people monkeys. That's a Tom, okay? That's an Uncle Tom. An Uncle Tom is somebody when little black kids get killed, want to jump out there and say, let's forgive everybody for what just happened to us. Sorry, I must have kicked people off.
So
Uncle Tom. So when I call him,
he called Crawford a monkey directly. He was talking to Crawford.
And
that,
go ahead.
Let me just complete the thing, and then I'll let y'all cook. So when I call you an Uncle Tom, don't you think I'm talking about it lightly? I'm literally talking about Uncle Tom's Cabin and the servant Tom that was such a good boy for Massa.
I would say look at Samuel L. Jackson's character in Django. That's Bud. Steven, the dude that was Leonardo DiCaprio's right-hand man.
And Jumbo Unchained.
Django Unchained. Yep. Samuel L. Jackson. That's Bud. That's who Bud is. No lie. Like the way that he be moving, and it's crazy because you see how as soon as he joined that side, he started doing all the typical things that you would expect an Uncle Tom to do. Talking about, all of them is urban. Basically calling people roaches. But they even want to jump in with everybody who's bad mouthing all the black fighters on PBC. Like that's typical Uncle Tom behavior. They're not going to say that it's wrong. He's not going to tell people to chill. And on top of that, it's not just an interview, it's going at him directly on Twitter too. So now, like, the fact that people still supporting that from Bud, like I never been somebody who was a fan of him, and I'm still definitely not. Ain't no way.
Well, I want to say this. I'm kind of off this topic. I'll never support Crawford just because of the way he can't show grace to Errol and deference to Errol. And you're talking about Victor Postal and Ricky Birds or elite wins when Canelo press you on who you beat. You can't even say Errol Spence. So I'll never support him for that. But going back to the boot situation, I want to get y'all's thoughts on that. Corporate media and the echo chambers are ignoring Golden Boy and Virgil Ortiz's long record of stringing Stanionis along. You remember when they were playing games with Stanionis and they halted his career for 12 to 18 months? Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, long time he got held up. Boots got held up.
Boots got held up. So Virgil Ortiz's side has a track record of stringing folks along and bullshitting and holding up fighters' career. Boots doesn't. Boots is the most honest person. He doesn't talk much. He's not like a Shakur where he's saying Tyson Fury's better than Muhammad Ali, Ray Robinson is nothing, and all this other stuff. Boots is the most humble, honest guy. And Virgil Ortiz has the track record, along with Golden Boy, of stringing fighters along. And yet you're going to believe the victim over the person who has the long track record. Are we in the Twilight Zone or a metaverse or something? I don't understand it.
Not to mention, Boots is exactly what they say they want Gervonta Tank Davis to be. So my question becomes, it's obvious that y'all just don't like PBC fighters. Like, it's obvious. Y'all complain about Tank not wanting to get belts, only focusing on the money. Y'all complain about Boots wanting to get belts and how he need to fight names and get names on his resume. It's like y'all always want the boxers to do the opposite of what they've told you their goals were, so you can continue to criticize them. It doesn't make any sense. The man told you, I want to get the belts at 47. I want to be undisputed. He seen he was having trouble getting undisputed. Fine. Let me just defend my belt and let me unify. And then I'm going to move up. He defended the belt. He unified. He moved up. Now he moving up. Y'all saying he moving up and ducking this fighter at 47 and ducking this fighter at 47 when y'all was just saying the man need to move up and go to 54 because he a weight bully. So the whole thing y'all saying, it just doesn't make any sense. And this is the point I want to make real quick. Do you know how sometimes a record label, they'll sign an artist that's good, but put them on the shelf so they won't compete with their artist? Mm-hmm. Or a basketball team will sign an athlete and put them on the bench so they won't be a threat to their team. You got to think that's what you say.
They did that to Luis Ortiz with Anthony Joshua. Just signed him so they could put him on they just signed him to put him on the shelf. Yeah.
So why y'all don't think this is what's going on with these African-American fighters going over there signing with Eddie Hearn? Why y'all don't think that they're signing them not to make them stars, not to all that talk? Eddie Hearn talks very good. Oh, Shakur Stevenson should be a bigger star. And he really threw a shot at Shakur Stevenson when he said if Shakur Stevenson was in the UK, he'd be a bigger name.
No,
That's a
he flat
shot.
out said national treasure.
A national treasure. Basically, you saying he not good enough to be a big name in the United States. And y'all are not making Shakur Stevenson a star. Y'all aren't doing that. Y'all putting him on undercards. Y'all putting him on at these crazy times of the day, middle of the day against football. Like you doing all of this stuff the opposite of trying to make him a star. So I think that these, even though they're getting the bag, at what cost, y'all? Once Shakur Stevenson leaves Turkey, what is there for him? What is there for him? Seriously, he's
That's
a
what I've
free
been
agent
saying.
allegedly. So who's clamoring to sign Shakur Stevenson?
We've seen this movie before with Boo Boo Andre. They signed
Yep.
Boo Boo Andre to keep him away from Canelo when Canelo said his goal was to be undisputed at middleweight and Bum Lufkin. And so what did they do? Nonstop gaslighting when they had everybody at middleweight under the same umbrella. And what was Eddie Hearn doing? He was trying to pitch the two black dudes, one on the opposite side of the street when he was FaceTiming Jamal Charlo when it was like, no, Canelo said he wanted to be undisputed at middleweight. You've got Bum Lufkin. Why are we talking about Andre versus Bum Lufkin, Andre versus Canelo? They were trying to say that Jamal, who was with PBC, was ducking them with the natural fights for in-house. What I mean, you guys cannot see the forest from the trees. We've seen this playbook over and over again with these clowns.
Andres was a little different because because I remember at that point, I don't know if the Charlos still feel the same way, but I remember after Andre pulled out that fight with Jermell, the Charlos were like, nah, forget this dude. He bad for business. How you gonna pull out on fight week? And then do all this and that. And that was the beginning of Andre's downfall. Like that's where I believe Devin Haney is right now if he pulls out this fight with Brian Norman Jr. If he pull out this fight with Brian Norman Jr., like Devin got two options. He can get smacked and then blackballed, or he can pull out the fight and still get blackballed. So you're gonna have to pick out, which one he wants out of that, because that's what's happening or gonna happen to a lot of these guys. Even Shakur, like Two Cents was just talking about, like I don't like she said, I don't see any promoter looking to, or jumping out their seats like, oh, we got to sign him. Bob Arum's already had enough. We already seen what Bob Arum said about Bud. How you think he's gonna feel about Shakur? Like, man, I could have bought like three mansions with the money I lost. So like, what's gonna happen with him? And then we seen how Oscar feels. Oscar said he's not gonna put any of his fighters in with Devin Haney ever again, just because of Devin Haney's performance against Ramirez. You think he's gonna be comfortable doing the same thing with Shakur? And that's the problem. Like I've been saying, like these guys have not been in fights where they were, 50-50 or an underdog. They've always been heavily favored. And that's the thing, like that's why they're not able to get this push that they want. That's why they're not able to turn into stars. Because like all these other great black fighters that we grew up watching, Muhammad Ali, Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, all them, they had fights where people was going in and say, "Oh, man, we don't know what the outcome of this one's going to be. This is going to be a good one." We have not seen that for Shakur. We have not seen that for Bud. We have not seen that for Devin Haney outside of the Lomachenko and Ryan fights, but they still talking. So like that's the problem right here. If they don't get a fight where it looks convincing to the hardcore fans and even the casuals that, oh, this person could beat them, they're not gonna go anywhere. They're gonna keep on keeping on with what they're doing over there with Turkey, and it's not gonna go well for them once it gets to a point where it's like, okay, yeah, we can't keep wasting money on these dudes. I honestly feel they've all missed their opportunity because they spend so much time talking and hating on PBC fighters instead of doing what they needed to do to put themselves in that favorable position. Because right now, free agency, it ain't what they think it is. It's really not. Because yeah, all of them got like their own like promotional company and stuff, right? Like, Devin Haney with DHP, right? But what are they really doing with that? It's basically like them people who got an LLC but they don't really got no business. You know what I mean? It's,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, I know
basically
what you mean.
so
Hey,
it's
I gotta
basically
go,
like
but
that.
I want to say a couple points. Andre was at the time when he signed with Eddie Hearn, he was active. So what I was saying in the sense of Andre versus Jamal is that they were deflecting and trying to push the two black fighters together when they had everything in house. Andre was fighting Walter Katandakwa, Liam Williams. He was fighting guys. So that was a different situation. What corporate media was doing was saying, why isn't Andre fighting Jamal when Canelo needed one belt to be undisputed at middleweight? And he himself said that was his goal. So in the sense that Eddie Hearn signed Luis Ortiz and Andre to keep Luis Ortiz away from Anthony Joshua and to keep him away from Canelo and Bumlovkin, who he's working for at the same time. That point still stands. The deflection techniques were, let's match the two black guys, one of which is on another network. That's what I was saying about that.
Okay.
In the Usyk video, Fanon, before you go today, can you play that brief Usyk interview where he talked about the difference between discipline and motivation? Very short clip. I emailed it to you. It's amazing. 10 count. I don't know if you still have the gongs, Fanon. Ole Miss defensive lineman, 18 years old, freshman defensive lineman, University of Mississippi, Corey Adams, shot in Memphis, Tennessee. Rest in peace to Corey Adams. Live lost, too young, senseless violence. Corey Adams, just beginning life, about to be a freshman at University of Mississippi. 10 count for him, and then that Usyk interview. With that, I'm out. Deuces.
Yes, sir. Hold on. Here you go.
I have discipline. Motivation, it's temporary. Today, for example, today you have motivation. Tomorrow, wake up early, you don't have motivation. But when I wake up early morning training, I never have motivation. I have only discipline, because when I wake up, my team too wake up, and we go to training. Motivation need only amateur sportsman, not boxing, not professional. Not professional, yeah.
Got it. What he's saying is a difference between motivation and discipline. In the morning, I feel that. I get up in the morning and I do not feel motivated to do anything. Discipline is when you're going to do something even though you don't feel like doing it. So you're not always going to feel motivated, but when you don't feel motivated, you need to be disciplined to do it. So like if I don't feel like getting up in the morning and I don't feel like doing some videos, getting up here and talking boxing to you sometimes, but I have to be disciplined and get up there and do it and continue to do it and continue to do it. Does that make sense? So yeah, that was great. What's on your mind, King of hating? Any Shakur hate?
We're gonna let him slide for now because he done dug a ditch for himself. You know, he just keeps on talking like shit. He was just out there talking about he had his hands hurt against Zepeda. So man, this dude, I don't, man.
He had the hand hurt against Zepeda, he said?
Yeah, he said he hurt his hands like 6 weeks in the training camp.
Man, he got a hand problem.
Man, if that ain't the truth, he got other problems too. So we're not going to talk about him right now. Man, I'm thinking this fight with Brian Norman. I think the Haney's still looking for a way up out there. They still looking for a way up out there.
Of course they
because, man,
they don't want to have a real career with him, man. They want to play shell games, is what they want to do. They want to always make it look. They want to have the highest reward for the lowest risk. That's why he spent so much time fighting at 135 when he was already damn near a middleweight, wanting those advantages. He had age advantages, he had size advantages, but now the time is up for all of that shit. You got to give somebody you're going to have to go into with a power disadvantage and an age disadvantage and a confidence disadvantage, because Devin's confidence is not it looks like it's at an all-time low, while Brian Norman's confidence looks like it's like an all-time high. So
that's a very good thing.
Yeah, and they try to start playing games with trying to grabbing him, wrestle him to the ground. I think you might have tried to hurt the dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't want that shit because Devin ain't real, man. And this is why I say Devin's not real. After listening to all this fake shit from Devin for the last 4 or 5 years, dude, everything about this dude is phony as fuck, man. Just phony. You know, I'm not saying he can't fight. That's real. He has real basic fundamental boxing skills and he can actually fight in a ring. But he's nowhere near the type of fighter that you guys are selling him. After I looked at Gary Russell Jr. fight and saw what Gary Russell Jr. did, I've never seen Devin Haney ever do that to anybody at any level of fighter that he fought. That shit is he's just not that good, man. Somebody said, oh, Cardina said super chat, my bad. Phenomenal Noop said, Noop is so bad that that don't nobody even know when Eddie Hearn throws his own fight cards because the stable has been gutted 100%. And Jay Henderson said Turkey has exploited American greed. Turkey gets away with these things because people say they're getting the pay in the bag. Yeah, but dude, all money ain't good money, man. All money's not good money. But Noob, thank you, brother, so much, man, for that. Yeah.
Oh, I sent you a video on IG. This won't be Devin's next opponent if he pull out the Brian Norman fight. You got to see this guy. Hey, he got fast hands, and Devin should feel comfortable because he got the reach advantage on him. But hey, check out this dude's shadow boxing. You got to see this.
All right, hold on. Oh.
Yeah, that's Devin's next opponent right there.
Damn, how little is this dude?
I don't know.
Oh my God, he's a grown man too.
Exactly. Devin should feel comfortable in there with that dude. And look at it, he cutting off the ring on that guy with the shadow boxing too. So,
ooh, that little dude trying to get it in, man. Thank you for the 10
right?
count, Corey Adams. Thank you, brother. Yes, sir. But hey, man, I'm about to bounce, bro.
Me too. Gotta get into the office.
All right, man. It was fun. I'll get back with you tomorrow, man. Peace.
All right, man. You take it easy.
Yes, sir. Hey, so anyway, I'm out of here. And yeah, dog, I did want to tell you though, just seriously on a little bit of shit talking side. Imagine how much money those people lost for. Let me give you a 10 count. The Cardina said, Gary is the closest thing I've seen to Sweet Pea in today's boxing. I'm not saying he's better, but closest thing with movement. I'm just telling you, man, God dog, man. He's such a better fighter than these dudes are, man. He's way better than these dudes, man. These guys are relying on size bullying, man, to beat these guys. You guys are relying on size and conditioning, and you guys do not have the skill that those guys had, and I don't care. That's my take. But anyway, look, man, I'm up out of here. Much love. Thank you to everybody that supported in the chat today, man. For real, man. I needed your support, and I appreciate it, man. Thank you guys so much. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.